Hello, my eggheads. It's Carla, and today I will be making revisionist history eggplant. Strap in. We're going places today. I want to ask you a question. Have you ever gone through a friend breakup? If you have, you will know that the friend breakup is the most brutal breakup of them all. I myself have gone through more than one friend breakup. The friend breakup I'm going to talk about today inspired this recipe because the first time I made this delicious eggplant dish was with a bunch of friends, really fun dinner party, people that I knew and loved. And a mere short months after first making this dish with my friends, they weren't my friends anymore, which was really sad. It took me a long time to get over it. But one of the saddest parts to me was that the happy memory is then polluted because in the future, you're like, oh my God, they weren't really friends. And a few short months later, we would not be friends. So like, what was real that day? Were we really having fun? Was it a good time? How did people feel about me? How could I have known? All these questions that will never be answered. The one thing that I do have control of in this memory and this memoir is the eggplant. Because the eggplant didn't do anything to me. The eggplant was delicious then, and there is no reason why, on top of everything else, I should also miss out on a great recipe. Because like, if you're me, I'm looking for great recipes all the time, and they could come from anywhere. And this great recipe came from a great night that later wasn't so great at all. But the eggplant didn't do anything wrong. And the eggplant has been nothing but good to me. And I'm gonna go back now. I'm gonna recreate this dish, and I'm going to transform the memory and turn it into something that I own, that makes me really happy, that I can share with you. And eggplant belongs to us. That's it. Also, I love eggplant. It's a nightshade. There was a lot of shady characters there. Eggplant, the shadiest of them all, is actually the one who's been the truest. And if you've ever gone through, she says menacingly, pointing a knife at you, if you've ever gone through a friend breakup, put a little broken heart in the comments and we'll heart you back because we know how bad it hurts. The other thing you could do is just go ahead and like and subscribe because I'm never gonna let you down. I'm a friend for life, 100. So I'm cutting the eggplant into thickish slices. So some of this is based on memory. So if you've had a dish in a restaurant or you had a dish that you made one night and then you were like, wow, that was good, what did I do? So I've had some of those experiences. I don't really remember if we cut the eggplant this thick that night, but this is how thick I'm gonna cut them today. So we're already like making our new reality. And the reason why I cut the eggplant in these stripes is that the skin can be a little bit tough, but I don't want to take it off completely because it's also going to help like hold the shape of the eggplant. It's nice to eat, but sometimes when it's wraps all the way around, it'll kind of like peel off in the way that like an onion ring can just like come straight out of the batter. So by putting in these stripes, it makes it like really tender and really easy to eat. Learn that tip from Don Perry. Shout out Don Perry. Eggplant are in season. Late summer, early fall, that's when you should be making your eggplant parm. That's when you should be making your delicious baba ganoushas and burying eggplants in the coals. And actually, the day that this dish was first made, we cooked it on a plancha over a grill. So you can definitely do this outside if you want to. I've made it an indoor experience in the safe confines of my own home. But eggplant is delicious, grilled. Okay, so now that the eggplant is cut, salting eggplant, controversial. Do you need to, do you don't? Some people say that the only reason you need to salt eggplant is if they're bitter and like, you know, kind of crappy, gigantic, spongy Italian eggplant, and they need to be salted because they're bitter and it helps. but actually salting and pressing, I've done a little bit of research on this. Salting and pressing seasons the eggplant, and the pressing down helps with tenderness. So I just do it. If I was using like literally picked yesterday, gorgeous, sweet, tender white eggplant, I would salt, but I might not press. But these I'm gonna salt and press. So clean kitchen towel. Instead of salting each eggplant, I'm just gonna put a layer of salt down. I think I did this in the eggplant parm video. Did I? Okay, yeah, because this works well. You can use paper towel, but a clean kitchen towel is nice and absorbent, and then just throw it in the wash. And then I'm gonna put the eggplant, hopefully they all fit on this layer, directly onto that salt. So now they're getting evenly coated. It's easy peasy, fresh and breezy. There's so many metaphors happening here. Salt in the wound, there's some bitterness, there's some sweetness, there's inner tenderness. We're being nice to ourselves. We also, listen, sometimes it doesn't work out with friends. It just happens. I've been through some college era, 20s era, later. They hurt. They really hurt. They hurt bad. They're really terrible. We just have to keep moving forward and living our lives and transforming ourselves. And also, it's your memory, so you get to do whatever you want with it. The thing about a memory and a memory of a time and a story that you tell is like, your memory is not like a, you know, like a Watergate era 73 sources reported investigation. It's your memory. So like, you could leave parts out and you could play up other parts that make you feel happier. Letting go of like the parts that hurt you is healthy, and also eating eggplant is healthy. So really, I'm doing this next part because I did it the first time and I did it with my son, Leo. Really special and glorious part of this memory because we were scoring and oiling eggplant together. So I'm just gonna score the top side. Shallow cuts. This will help it absorb the oil. It also looks pretty. It's also like, I don't know, kind of fun. You don't have to go very deep, but eggplant, kind of like mushrooms, very thirsty. They're greedy. And I did drink a lot of wine that night, so I was thirsty myself. But just kind of breaking this top layer, and then I will put the eggplant down when I cook them on the scored side down. They'll absorb a little bit more oil on that first side than the second. We're moving on, we're moving up. We're growing and we're changing. And the body is always changing. We're never just one thing. Transformation is happening, even if you don't want it to. All right, scored and salted. Top little blankie goes over. If you had to use like a second towel, this one just is big. So while these are getting pressed, it's also gonna be absorbing the liquid that's coming out of them. So putting another sheet tray on top, and you could weight this down with like a big cast iron skillet. You could use anything. I, of course, look for no reason to use the pressy downy whenever possible. So those are just gonna sit for about 15 minutes. It could be longer, you don't have to like set a timer, but in this amount of time, we're gonna make some pickled onions. For the pickle, in my memory, I think we just shaved some raw onion over the top at the end, and it was good. But now we're just making it better. This onion is a little bit bigger than the one that I used originally. I might just use half of it, but also if you wanted to make extra of this pickle, you don't have to put all of it onto the eggplant at the end, and then you just have like delicious pickled onions to use in your broiled salmon bowls and your sandwiches and your other grain salads, and it's always nice to have pickled onions around. So I'll see how juicy. And you could definitely use a shallot. You could use some like nice bulb onion. You could use even scallions, red onion, any onion. I think I need a new mandolin. You know, it's not like it stays sharp forever. And I've never taken the blade off. I think you can like take the blade off manually and sharpen it, but like who has ever done that? If you've done that, you have to like and subscribe. Go really thin. It would be nice if they were rounds, so a smaller onion that would fit. That looks pretty, but we have half circles, and that's gonna be fun too. I'm really on my onion journey because like I didn't used to be able to like lean into raw onion as much as I can now. Also when they're pickled, it like calms them down a little bit, but have grown to appreciate and love. All right, so before I season with anything acidic, I'm just gonna get some kosher salt on these, toss that. They'll start releasing liquid like pretty much immediately. This actually isn't in the recipe that I wrote that we're supposed to be demoing today, but I'm gonna put a pinch of sugar in this too because we're gonna be nice to ourselves, right? Like add sweetness. Be sweet to others, be sweet to yourself. Life is sweet. Pickles often have a little sugar. And look at how much sugar I add. This is the amount of sugar I have in the house right now. Ridiculous. I think Cosmo like actually comes along and has whole spoonfuls of sugar, like secretly. And then I have no sugar and I'm like, okay, so we have a salt and sugar situation. Our onions, like they're already floppy and delightful. And to this I'm gonna add about 1/4 cup of lemon juice, which is about 2 lemons worth. And then there's another lemon over here that will be for finishing the eggplant and for the yogurt sauce. So you need 3 lemons all day. Lemons have been a little disappointing lately. These were 4 for 2, but like they're kind of hard and they're kind of small. I'm not gonna measure this, I'll just do the 2 lemons. I measured in development, so if you don't have lemon juice on hand and you wanted to swap this out for maybe rice vinegar or cider vinegar, it would be the same 1/4 cup. I hear a child. Leo, will you talk to me for a second? Okay, remember when we made that grilled eggplant dish 2 summers ago and you said it was the best eggplant dish you'd ever had in your life and it was the best thing on the table? Mm-hmm. Did it just have sliced raw onion on it? Or were they pickled?
I wish I could help you.
He doesn't remember. That's okay. We're going to transform the memory into whatever we want it to be now. Okay. So now they're pickled. Did we slather it with olive oil while it was still on the tray? Mm-hmm. We did, because it went on the plancha, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, thanks so much for coming by. Leo music, everyone. Okay, Aleppo pepper will reappear later. And sherry vinegar, just because I like it. Woo, that was an overflow situation. And that's that. Large skillet, medium-high heat. We're going to reveal our pressed eggplant. Eggplant is pressed, not stressed. And you can see some liquid has already seeped through. So normally you're gonna want to pat dry. If you see any liquid still on the surface of the eggplant, just make sure to pat them dry. These look great. I mean, if I press down, I can see some more liquid kind of press up, but there's no water pooling. Sometimes when you do this, you'll see actual beads of water pooling on the surface. And I don't remove the salt. This is how we seasoned them. So perfect. Okay. In the recipe, I'm calling for like a set amount of olive oil plus more as needed because eggplant, again, like mushrooms, they are just porous sponges. And what you can't let happen is you can't let a dry skillet happen. There must be lubrication at all times for things to move smoothly. Okay. I was as moderate as I could be. I started with 1 tablespoon. I added another. This was in development and it needed 3. So, and also when I turned them over, it needed a little more. So starting with that scored side of the eggplant, that's gonna go down first. Whoopee, don't splash yourself like I did. And these are gonna cook until they have really, really nice color on the underside. So that's gonna take, could take 6 minutes, could take 7, you know? Heat is conducting at different rates in different places. And unless you wanna get 2 skillets going at the same time, or you wanna do this out on your grill, either directly over the grill grates or in like a gigantic plancha, you're gonna have to do this in 2 batches. I'm just gonna press down lightly with the spatula as I go. And like, there's still some available oil because when I press down, I can hear that sizzle, but the bottom of the pan like basically looks dry. So we have to drizzle. It's not a crime. And Leo just said when he came down, he said himself, what he remembers us doing is we actually slathered the eggplant slices in oil and then we passed them off to somebody else who did the actual grilling. So they were saturated and it's part of what makes them so delicious. So just like lean into it. Lubricated pan, browning, caramelizing, crackling, pickling. Dry pan, scorching. Dry, black, char, bitter, carbonized. Which one do you want? You want to carbonize your heart? We're not doing that. We're browning and caramelizing. We're bringing out sweetness. We're not scorching. We did the scorching. The earth was scorched, okay? Don't scorch the eggplant. That's all I'm saying. Time for flips. Ooh, nice color. I like that really brown edge. See our pretty score marks. Whoopee. And I think I have to change the recipe. I think we have to start with a 1/4 cup of oil because 3 tablespoons, it's just not cutting it. And I can't let scorching happen to you. So for this second side, in addition to getting really nice browning on the underside, I want the texture in the center of the eggplant slice to really get to that like incredibly creamy, melt in your mouth, soft, delightful texture. And if it feels like the browning's happening too quickly, then lower the heat, back off a little, and let it continue to cook through. Also press down on this side because I drizzled oil on the top side while they were cooking. Oil has like saturated into the flesh of the eggplant, and once the eggplant starts to cook, it releases some of that fat back out. So you can just kind of press down a little bit to get those juices flowing. That will also help with cooking through. And they're coming along famously. Fantastic things are happening. If you aren't sure if the eggplant is tender, take that same knife that we use for scoring, and it should just really pass through like nothing, like a silk pillowcase, okay? I'm gonna turn the heat off before I do the second batch and just transfer these. I don't feel the need to put these on to a paper towel, but if you wanted to drain them a little bit, you could. I'm kind of like, let the olive oil course through my veins kind of a person, but. And then while these are still nice and warm, I'm taking that 3rd lemon from before and grating some of the zest over so it kind of melts right in. These oils from the lemon are gonna just absorb into that eggplant flesh, and I'll do about half and then use the other half for the other half of the eggplant. So this is like nice and lemony, and then there's lemon juice in our pickle. There would be a little lemon in the labna. Layers of lemon, LOL, hello. Sweet and creamy needs cold and sour. Everybody knows this. So for the bottom of the platter, I have some delicious labna. If you can't get labna at your market, go for Greek yogurt. Labna is just extra strained, so it's thicker and it's tangy and delicious. So you could do this in a separate bowl and season the yogurt and then transfer it. But honestly, like I don't want to get another bowl dirty, so I'm just gonna make the yogurt sauce directly in the platter that I'm serving the eggplant. So we've got yogurt, the juice of the remaining lemon. And again, in iteration 1 of this dish, I don't believe we seasoned the yogurt, maybe just with salt and pepper, but I don't believe that we lemoned. And we've layered lemons here, which is like bright, sunshiny, cleansing, fragrant, you know, all of the things that we want our memories to be. And so into this is a very large clove of garlic. I'm gonna use half of it, but delicious, beautiful, that purple skin garlic that you start getting in the summer. And it'll get mellowed a bit in the yogurt. It's probably like a teaspoon of grated garlic. I think I should season it. So I'm gonna add a little salt. And I'm gonna add a little more Aleppo that we used in the pickle. And it'll look a little crazy at the beginning, but it's gonna combine. So this is your serving platter, so you wanna make it pretty. If you did get like yogurt up around the sides, you know, just clean it up a little. So now I'll just use the back of my spoon to kind of push the sauce out to the edges so you can see it even when the eggplant's piled on top. Resisting the temptation to put olive oil in this yogurt sauce because this is going to deliver delicious olive oiliness, so we don't need it. Eggplant just goes right on top, tucking, shingling, not knowing any food stylist tricks for like how to make this the most appealing, but it looks beautiful to me. Okay, so now we have, don't pour lemon in my wound, onions. Pickly, aged, pungent, mature, robust. So I've got all the beautiful lemon liquid also. Just gonna add a drizzle of that. Sounds saucy and gorgeous. And then hang on to your pickle for another day. Some mint. This is gorgeous. Spearmint. Spearmint can be super powerful. So I'm just gonna not use a ton of it, but mint and eggplant, famous together. This is gonna brighten up. You've got like, you know, a lot of richness, and now you've got freshness, more cleansing energy. This is the thing that really made it happen for me. What it needed was this extra little drizzle of sweetness, because what I needed was an extra little drizzle of sweetness. Just like a reminder, like, yes, the breakups can be hard. The memories can be bitter, but you have to be sweet to yourself. And you have to also believe that the future is going to be really sweet too. So now it has everything. And now it's perfect. And now it's mine. And it's new. And dare I say, more delicious than the original. So a lot of food memories, when you have a food that has this really strong memory, it'll bring the memory flooding back. The question for me is, does it taste the same? Like, is it gonna be the same food memory? It's better. The present is better than the past. So with a different attitude, this could have been a cursed recipe. This could have been a food forever maligned. But I truly encourage you to enjoy this eggplant with your friends, your lovers, and if in the future they fade away, the eggplant belongs to you forevermore. There's ups and downs, guys, but I truly believe that over the whole course of the whole thing, it's gonna be up. Friends come and go. Eggplant is forever. That's what you have to remember.